Hey there, everybody, and welcome back to Roll with Advantage. And to those of you watching from the US, happy 4th of July. You know, the 4th of July has always piqued my interest as a holiday because of the traditions we have on that holiday, right? Where it was originally the day we declared our independence from Britain, and it has turned into a day where we blow up colorful lights in the sky and we grill food. I think that's so interesting, and it's just further reinforcement for me as to why the best place for you to get inspiration as a world builder in your fantasy world is from our world. Listen, don't get me wrong, it's great to go to Tolkien, it's great to go to Robert Jordan, to George R. R. Martin, whoever you want, Brandon Sanderson, anybody. Borrow from any of those people, but if you want things that feel real and genuine and sometimes a little strange like our world is, the best place to pull from is our world. So I had a dumb idea. I wanted to make a video every single holiday, and I wanted to make a video about that holiday and how you could implement something similar in your games. And today is the 4th of July, so we're going to talk about Independence Days and how you can implement Independence Days in your games and why you should. So without further ado, let's go ahead and dive in as to why celebrating holidays in your games are important. So, why are holidays important? And the number one reason why they're important is immersion. So holidays in any setting, whether it's our real world or a fantastical one, they play this crucial role in immersion. They provide a sense of time, culture, and tradition. So specifically with time, the players will start to feel the passing of time. It's as important as showing the shifting of seasons in your game. It's a way for your players to connect to the passage of time in the same way that they do here. One thing that I'm going to continue to bring up is there is an acting teacher, one of the first acting teachers by the name of Stanislavski. One of his big things was connecting the life of your character that you're portraying to your own. What connections can you make, and how can you further embrace the character by connecting them to your life? By being empathetic and saying, I went through this, that's similar to my character, I'm going to use that. That's what we're trying to do here. If you include an Independence Day, your players know what it feels like to have pride in their country, or they know what it feels like to at least enjoy watching fireworks. That's what you're trying to do with any holiday you add to your game, is you're trying to create a personal connection for your players, for their characters, so they feel even further connected to the world. The big bad evil guy seems a lot more threatening if he threatens to take away all of those holidays too, with the destruction of the world. We'll never get to celebrate Tarkirian Independence Day again. That's such a big day for our people, and to never do that again, to lose out on the grilled food and the colorful lights in the sky, that's not what I want, right? That's what you're building towards. Plus, holidays also add a bit of a break from the rigor of adventuring. You never want your adventures to be going hard 24/7, non-stop action all the time. You want to provide small breaks every once in a while for your players to do something fun. I get it. The world's ending, but hey, come on, let's grill some dogs, let's do a little bit of fireworks. Or whatever your fantasy Independence Day has. Which, by the way, if you'd like to learn more about how you can connect BBEGs to your party or creating good big bad evil guys in general, we have a couple videos about that, so be sure to check those out. All right, so next up, we have implementing an Independence Day in your game. So creating an Independence Day in your fantasy world involves more than just picking a date and saying it's a holiday. So what I have 5 steps or 5 key ideas that you need to get figured out to have a fully immersive holiday that your players can get lost in. The first thing you need to do is decide what event this day commemorates. Was it a battle for freedom against a tyrant? Was it the founding of a new nation? Or perhaps the end of a longer war? This backstory will start to shape how the holiday is celebrated. Once you know when and why it's happening, you can figure out the traditions and customs around it. How do people celebrate? Are there parades, fireworks, reenactments of historical events? Maybe there's traditional foods, games, rituals that have been passed down through generations. A great point of inspiration for this is from Avatar: The Last Airbender, Avatar Day, where you have these deep fried foods that are a little spicy that the gang starts to eat. And the reason they have those is because they burn effigies of the avatars because they hate them. And then by the end of the episode, when their opinions have been changed, they don't fry the food anymore because they don't burn the avatars anymore, right? That's such a great example of how customs and traditions can change based off of events in the world. Next up, we have symbols and icons. So what symbol is representative of the day? Are there flags, emblems, specific colors that can add to the visual and thematic elements of the celebration? The symbols can also be used as decorations throughout the game setting. People look forward to Independence Day. I mean, depending on how patriotic the nation could be, that could be just the flag. Then next up, we have public and personal celebrations. So you want to consider both large, public, huge celebrations and also the smaller, personal ways people might observe the day. Public events could include speeches by leaders, these like grand feasts and community gatherings. But on a personal level, families might have their own traditions that adds just a layer of depth to NPCs and the way that they interact with the players. Right? Imagine if your players are level 5 and they just got done saving a village and there was the blacksmith is the one who they saved. So they go to the wide Independence Day that's celebrated by the whole village, but then the blacksmith invites them over and you see a much smaller, much more subdued celebration of independence within this family. In the large, sprawling town event, there are fireworks and parades, but here you can see that they make offerings to the revolutionary at the time, or the king at the time, who broke away from the tyrant. They burn offerings to him. It's more of a religious act at that point. Offerings to someone who did a great service for their family and for their home. One of the most important things you need to do for NPCs in your world to make your players care about them is make sure the NPCs care about something. Because if your NPCs are just radiant quest givers that stand there and walk in a path and never do anything else and never care about anything else, then your players aren't going to care. So by giving them something to care about, something to do, as simple as a holiday, it can make a huge difference in the way that your players view your NPCs. Then we come to number 5, which is the final one for how it can interact with your game, which is how does it impact gameplay? So this could be a really cool moment for you to create a unique game mechanic or an event. So you could use this holiday to create a unique game mechanic or maybe even some follow-up events. So like you could give temporary bonuses for characters that participate in the festivities, or special holiday themed quests, or maybe rare items that are only available during the celebration. In terms of participating in festivities, maybe for every activity they do, they can get a bonus to saving throws, or to attack, or to damage. Feeling patriotic for the nation or the place that they just defended, and they get that +3 bonus, and every day that passes they lose +1. That's a great way to make sure that the holiday has an impact not just on role players like me when I play a game, but also on more mechanically minded players. Then they feel an incentive to interact with these things, and that's the thing. I mean, it's a little Pavlovian, but you dangle the mechanic in front of that player, and then they interact with the world, and who knows, they might actually start to care about your world if you dangle the mechanic in front of them first. Now, I did also mention quests, which is the next section, and this is the final thing we're going to talk about. So we have got 5 hooks for Independence Day. First one, historical reenactment gone wrong. The town's annual reenactment of a historical battle is disrupted by real attacks from enemies they thought long defeated. The players must step in to protect the townsfolk and uncover who is behind these attacks. I mean, think about it. The ghosts of the long-dead empire have returned to lay claim to the land as the undead Lich King marches his soldiers forward. That's a great way to kick off a new arc. Imagine your players, they just get like +3 to attack, right? They've done 1, 2, 3 different games. They're feeling good. They're feeling jazzed. And people start to scream. Fires start to break out. People are running in the different direction. Where do your players go? They run towards the danger. And they start to fight the undead, and they are charged up, right? They're feeling good. They're like, I gotta protect this place. This is independence. I'm gonna fight, you know? Like, that's what you're doing. You want to get them charged up to care. That's why these holidays are so important. Another plot hook you could use is a stolen relic. A powerful relic central to the Independence Day celebrations has been stolen. The players are tasked with retrieving it before the festivities begin, only to find that the theft is a larger plot to undermine the nation. Ooh, political intrigue. There is a crown. It's a ceremonial crown. It's much too large. Maybe it's covered in flowers or jewels, but for the mayor, for the king, for the emperor, for the queen, whoever it is, it's much too large and cumbersome for it to be worn any given day. So it's on display all the time, and it's only ever worn on this Independence Day to celebrate the independence, to show the grandeur that the monarch or that the ruler of the nation has. And it's been stolen. Now the symbol of independence is stolen. The people of the nation, they begin to crack. They begin to worry. Is our independence for naught? This is a symbol of it, and now it's gone. And then the players have to find it, and who knows, maybe people are trying to overthrow the current ruler. People are trying to destabilize the nation so they can take over. Another one we have is Ghosts of the Past. The spirit of those who fought for independence appear on this day, seeking closure or revenge. The players must either help these spirits find peace or fend off the vengeful apparitions that are coming after the townsfolk. And who knows, maybe they could even help the vengeful spirits find peace. It's a great way to get historical context for things that happened in the past from first-person accounts. It's been 200-300 years and we forget about the historical context, right? It's just a day to fry food and to celebrate and to have parades. But in all reality, for the people living through it, it was a bloody massacre, and they feel like their sacrifice is largely forgotten. I mean, that is a great plot hook for a ghost, to reappear and to see people celebrating and laughing on the day that they died. For the wrong type of spirit, that could be really offensive to them. And you have a great plot hook for your players. Next up, we have political intrigue. So specifically, there are rival factions within the nation that use this Independence Day or use an Independence Day to make political moves. So whether it's an assassination attempt during a parade or a covert meeting that could change the course of the nation's future, the players are caught in the middle of it, and they must navigate this sort of like web of intrigue. Now, what's really interesting is you could just have the players stumble upon this. They're looking for an activity that's said to be on the southwest side of town, and as they get there, they end up going down the wrong alley. And they end up overhearing a conversation between a couple of people that they can't see because they can't fully turn the corner or else they'll be seen. But they hear people speaking ill of the current ruler, of the current democratic institution, and they want to overthrow them. They want to reinstate the old tyrant. I think that is a great plot hook, because then they either pursue the people that were just talking or they try and go warn the current rulers. Where do they go? What impact does it have? I mean, it is a full arc of plot and intrigue that can unfold from that point. And then finally, magical mishaps. So there's a magical firework display that goes awry. It causes chaos in the city. The players must find the source of the magical disturbance while ensuring the safety of the citizens. This one's more silly. I mean, you can think of it could just be a couple of halfling, teenagers that are just messing around, accidentally lighting off the wizard's fireworks, That, super rare, but it happens. So the players go on the search for these people that are lighting off these fireworks that are potentially dangerous. It's a little bit more silly, a little bit more lighthearted, but it's a way to make sure that what I said back in the beginning is that you're giving your players a break, but they're still doing something. They're still helping people, but in a silly, fun, goofy way. All right, so there you have it. Holidays, especially something as significant as an Independence Day, can add incredible depth and richness to your world and provides a much more engaging world for your players. Whether you add the historical reenactments or dealing with political intrigue, these elements can really, really, really make your campaign feel so alive and vibrant. So with that, thanks for watching. If you liked it, don't forget to subscribe, and we will see you in the next one.